Shawn, Shawn Gibson, GIBSON, Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations.
And you're affiliated with ICE in some way, shape,
We're Division of ICE, yes.
What about all the publicity that you guys have been getting in the negative way about all these ICE raids going on across not only Los Angeles, but in a lot of areas of Southern California?
I mean, I can only speak for the San Diego area, but I think that, some of it is a part of the story. It's not the whole story. You see snippets of the video, and people are judged on a snippet of the video, and there's a little bit more context behind that. Specifically one that just happened recently in Linda Vista. There was a snippet of a video where individuals were arresting an individual. What they didn't see is before that there was contact with agents beforehand where they assaulted the agents, and they were effecting the arrest subsequently to that afterwards.
So what is the full context? What is the story? You mentioned that we're just getting snippets. Explain a little more about that.
Well, like I said,
from your point of view.
Well, like I said, there's another portion of it where you see an individual slap it that's on video, and that'll come out during the prosecution phase of it. But there's another portion of the story when you, just like anything, when you see a little bit of the video, you see what that context is. You don't have the prior context where there was contact made, individual like that. Now that's specifically for the assault. When you talk about the immigration enforcement across the area, you'll hear stories of people without criminal history, but there's also other stories where there's individuals that were arrested and convicted of murder. Those individuals will be picked up. We've picked up people that were suspected of terrorism in this area. We picked it up an individual that was convicted of cruelty to a child. So those are other stories of context of what's happening out in the area.
But you're not denying that people who have no criminal records are being arrested?
I'm not denying that individuals are arrested for immigration violations, no.
Which is a misdemeanor in this country, yes?
Which is a federal charge, yes.
It's a misdemeanor charge.
Yes, 8 U.S.C. 1325, yes.
It's a misdemeanor, yes?
Yes.
And so, what's the justification for armed people with military garb? Military. MRAP, Humvees, maybe not specifically Humvees, but armored personnel vehicles, gentlemen and ladies dressed for war, for arresting people with misdemeanor charges.
Again,
what is the justification of that?
Again, I can only speak to the context of here in San Diego for what I'm in charge of or tasked to oversee.
That's fine.
For example, the Buena Vachetta op, there's a lot of rhetoric out there is that people were in Army fatigues or military fatigues affecting that arrest. Yes, they were out there. They were out there, and they were covertly out there up until the point when the crowd overwhelmed our forces, and we had to have them provide security for the individuals executing that warrant.
But your people drive up in armored vehicles, whatever they're called, in Army uniform, in Army garb, helmets, magazines on their chest, multiple AR-15 type style weapons to arrest people with misdemeanor charges. Where's the justification of that?
Which context are you referring to? Where in San Diego?
That's how we've recorded it, we've documented it, that's how they come in.
In San Diego,
San Diego County.
What instance are you specifically referring to?
Specifically incidents. Well,
where there was an armored vehicle.
Well, Bearcats.
Specifically in San Diego County, where was there a Bearcat that affected a misdemeanor arrest?
Well, the Linda Vista one, there was one Bearcat, or Bearcat type. You can call it whatever you want, but it's an armored type vehicle.
In the Linda Vista?
It was in the restaurant. The armored SUVs. The SUVs had bulletproof glass, bulletproof doors, and they were armored.
Again, so what's happening is because of California Senate Bill 54, the state and local authorities are restricted at providing security and support from us in specific ways.
Your people.
Well, I'm getting at that, sir. They're restricted from providing support. So what we have to do is we have to provide our own support. If you see the videos with the Buena Vachetta search warrant, a criminal search warrant, not a misdemeanor search warrant, a criminal search warrant for the location, those were there to protect the agents that were executing. When you see the individuals out there in the militaristic uniforms or the less than lethal weapons, those were deployed after after the crowd started to grow and after the crowd surrounded vehicles, prohibiting us from leaving the scene of the search warrant. That's when they deployed. That's when those armored Suburbans, and that's for our safety. We have to have individuals. If you look at the video, you'll see bottles and things thrown at those vehicles as well. You'll see numerous sightings across the country where they've either spray painted or kicked in doors or broken windows. For example, if you want to use Los Angeles, where they were throwing rocks at the Border Patrol, we use those for our safety, the safety of our staff that's executing the mission. I don't know of an instance in San Diego where there was a Bearcat that was affected a misdemeanor arrest in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. It might have, again, my layman terms, anything that has, just so for context, anything that has armor plating, bulletproof glass, and then the people jump out in military uniforms, helmets.
But that's where I say, when you're seeing a snippet of that video and you see the pictures of the agents out there with fatigues on and less than lethal weapons out there, that is
They
after.
got lethal weapons.
Okay,
Just like these gentlemen right here and that lady, they've got lethal weapons. They might be carrying something with a green or an orange paint on it at that moment in time, but there are others in the group that have long rifles or weapons not for self-protection, but that are made for specifically.
But in law enforcement, we have to be prepared for multiple things. We have to be prepared for less lethal, but we also have to be able to transition quickly if it goes into lethal. As you saw with the attack on the Border Patrol station, as you saw in the other attack in Texas, it can transition very quickly, and we also have to be prepared for that transition.
Seems to me like you guys keep playing the victim in all of this. That's just what you explained. We have to protect ourselves, we have to protect our people, and we have to be prepared. It sounds to me that the people who are getting arrested, whether it's a misdemeanor or a felony, aren't the victims here, that you're the victims. Your group is the victim.
I don't know if that's the way it's coming off, but that's not. We do protect ourselves, just like the safety of patrol officers every day. Every patrol officer is protecting themselves out on the street as well.
And these people, other than resorting to violence, do have the right in this country so far, unless the Constitution gets changed, which it might, have the right to come out and protest these events. Yes?
Absolutely.
As long as it's not violent.
Absolutely. Peaceful protest is every citizen's right. As you saw on the No Kings Day, it was a fabulous day. Efforts of like 60 to 80,000 people came out and protested on the activities. It was very peaceful. It was showing out in support or showing out against the administration's priorities. That was peaceful. It's the second that it goes beyond peaceful, where they lay hands or they interfere. That's where we can't have that. It's not good for either side.
Your definition and the policy definition of interference?
It's very nuanced. It's very nuanced in what the activities are. It's very nuanced. It's very hard to say that this is black and white in that. But there's a lot of types of interfering, whether it's trying to impede an arrest, physically trying to impede an arrest, if you're trying to impede vehicles from executing the mission. There's very nuanced things for that.
And then can you speak to the federal courthouse issues that have been coming up, where people are coming out of their hearings either in a positive for the person or even a negative for the person, but being arrested immediately as soon as they come outside of the courthouse in that narrow hallway?
I can't speak to that.
That's
enforcement and removal operations. That's not our group.
God, you guys got so many fingers out of the hub, it's hard to keep track. But this, back to what you guys this was all about, this budget is going to be spread out among the different entities. Not just it's going to go to the analogy is the hub and the spoke. Is it going to go to the hub, which is U.S. Homeland Security, and then spread out amongst all the different divisions? Is that how it's going to work?
Like Chief Stallnacher said, it's very early for us. We're a field entity, so it goes to headquarters, it goes to DHS, it goes to, so there's little nuances in it that we don't know until we actually see what's going to be executed for us in the field. It's too early to tell how that looks for us, whether it's increase in personnel, technology, stuff of that nature. It's too early for us to tell locally how that's going to affect. I think as time goes on, there'll be more clarity in that.
And I appreciate you being professional and answering these questions. A lot of entities that have tried to talk to either walked away or criticized us for asking the questions. So I really
There's
appreciate that's a professional thing to do, and that's how it should go.
there's two sides to the story, and we try to be as transparent as we possibly can. Sometimes we're limited when ongoing investigations go on,
Right.
but there's definitely two sides to the story, and I think that it's within our purview to answer those questions. So I'm happy to do so.
No, I appreciate that because again, a lot of people in your position aren't answering the questions, and they're coming back at us saying, "Well, why are you asking those questions?" That's criticize the questionnaire versus answering the questions. So I really
Well,
appreciate that's a very professional thing to do.
and I think
And
there's
I got
also
to give you your due on that.
But I also think that there's a lot of rhetoric out there about avoiding due process and stuff like that, and I think that's somewhat unfair as far as people being provided the opportunity to get notice of rights, notice of to appear. Those are also things that we get out there for. So